I've got Stefan Hanks with me this evening, boxing promoter and tattooist extraordinaire. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Fine, John. How are you doing?
Not too bad, pal. Not too bad. I'm managing to survive and keep busy in the lockdown, and
That's it.
about keep staying. Yourself?
That's it, mate. Just trying the best we can. Every day's a Sunday, as you know. But
You said
we'll keep going.
Yeah, I know. You said you started doing a bit of your own training again recently, bud.
Yeah, I've been back doing a bit because I own a gym where I train all the fighters. So I've been going back doing a bit there. Just try do bits as I can. But how I am is, as soon as I start doing the little bit, you don't start beginning. You think I'm fit still, and I'm on a fight camp. So,
good man. That's what we want to hear, pal. That's what we want to hear. I'll come back to that in a moment. So we met through boxing, and we first met when I got in touch with you and came and fought on your Cash Fighter show in 2013, which was a wicked show, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And got to box in front of Sugar Ray Leonard and meet Sugar Ray Leonard that night as well. So thank you very much for that one, pal. That was fantastic.
Johnny Nelson was there as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know about. I remember seeing Johnny Nelson. I don't know if he stayed, but Sugar Ray stayed for the whole duration, didn't he? Yeah. He watched everything. Yeah. I mean, so many times I've been to these dudes, and they turn up, they do what they're required, and then they get on the bike. But he sat and watched. So I got to box in front of Sugar Ray Leonard, who was a personal idol of mine. The two guys growing up for me, Sugar Ray Leonard and Mike Tyson. I know that's completely opposing styles, but they were the best of both worlds, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So my first question to you, bro. How did you get into the boxing, and who were your sort of role models coming into it?
So I started training from when I was 9. I used to, and then like doing bits, but then when I was about 10, I used to sneak go in a boxing gym. It was a bit of away from where I lived. My mum and dad, they never wanted me box because there was a lot of the things going on with brain damage and such as that. But I used to just go, I used to sneak on my bike. They didn't know where I'd gone, and that was it. We were training, me and my brother training. Come when I was 11, the guy wanted his box, but for his box, his parents needed to sign a medical form. So me and my brother planned first of like just signing to selves, but we thought we'd better not. And we told my dad. So my dad come down to the gym, watched us a bit, and what we didn't know is this guy, he used to train my dad back in the day, so he knew my dad. And that was it. So we were training from there for a while. Then I had my first fight when I was 11. My brother, he was boxing as well. And I've got 2 older, 2 younger. Our Mark, the old one from me, and my 2 younger, they all boxed. So yeah, we kept it up. We loved it.
Was that all ABA stuff?
Yeah, that was all amateur. That was. I mean, we had a lot of fights in the amateurs. I mean, we were into this, must be 70 odd fights. Surely, when I was an amateur, like, I mean, did it for a long time.
That's a good whack. And who were your, like, I told you who my 2 favourites were. Who were your sort of idols or, role models?
My favourite fighter was always Mike Tyson. He was a ferocious fighter, and it was a shame till he come to his day and what happens with him. But nothing could have left with him back in his day. You mean it? And in my eyes, everything was kept clear of him till he was not the same person. Then they gave him all. Another one was Roberto Duran. Another one again, not the best boxer, but I'm lucky enough again. I've worked with both of them, Mike Tyson and Duran. And Duran, he was professional when he was 16 years age, I think it was. And he was supposed to have a license. He made out he was older than what he was. But again, another really hard man. He was.
Mate, that was
a long list.
That was sort of leading on to my next question. So basically, you've grown up sort of modelling yourself on some of these fighters and admiring them. And then you've ended up working with them professionally in your career later on, promoting events. And tell me a little bit about that and who else you worked with. Obviously, Duran, Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, that's enough for a start, but go on.
That's it. You mean, I've worked with I've done a lot of work with Tyson. I did a tour with him, I think it was last year. I forget where we are now, John, with what's going on. I think it was last year. We were in Ireland. We did a tour with him there. And I met him prior to that. We did a do with him in Stoke-on-Trent with another friend of mine. And you mean but then to grow up thinking how much of Tyson, to be sat there having your meal with him, in and out his hotel room and everything. It was crazy. I mean, and because we work that close with them, you don't realise no more of who they are. They don't come famous anymore. It becomes as just normal people. But when we were in Ireland, there was just a little bit of thing where we got in a lift. We come up to the floor. We got out this lift. We get another one. As we got out, another lift opened, and a couple walked out, and the couple looked back and said, the guy was like, "Oh my God, it's Mike Tyson." So then it makes you think, it's brilliant how it was like there's us all working with him. So that was like with Mike Tyson. I did a fair bit of work with Sugar Ray. I've worked with Davey Day, and not a thing you like. I mean, he ain't my cup of tea, the guy isn't like. I mean, he was not the best of people to work with. Just come across a little arrogant for me, like, and it's not what I thought. I wasn't much for him. Chris Eubanks, I worked with Eubanks. I've worked with that many now. Evander Holyfield, I worked with him, you know what I mean? And then one of my favourite heavyweights, and always has been since the day it started, still is, Tyson Fury. I did an event with Tyson Fury, and I've been lucky enough. I went to LA's first fight against Wilder. I went to the second one recently at Vegas, just before all this lockdown. We were lucky enough. We were in Vegas.
Wow. That's a fair old list, that, mate. And all I will say, if you ever promote another event with Tyson, you've got to shout me, mate. You've got to get me over.
That's it. I mean, hopefully, there should be the chance of him getting back into the country. Within, I don't know, they would have said this year, maybe next year, things are still all looking good, and you'll probably see Mike Tyson back in the UK.
That would be awesome, mate. That would be awesome. But I've got to say, meeting Sugar Ray Leonard, albeit briefly, but getting to box in front of him as well, that's one of the high points of my entire, not just career, but like life. It's just what, like I say, it's those wow moments. And I only exchanged a handful of words with him, but absolute gentleman. And it was cool that you got him to do the draw for the tournament for us and everything. Yeah. And I boxed really, really well that night, and I was
it was good.
So it was
one of my best tournaments I've done, without a doubt. That was some belting fights.
I tell you what, mate, I've had approximately, including my amateur, I've had somewhere in the region of 300 fights. I could tell you my professional record. I don't know it off the top of my head. It's about 40 odd, but it's a mix of MMA, pro kickboxing, 1K1, one bare knuckle, again on your own show. Come back to that later. And just a fuck ton of unlicensed boxing, right? But then before that, I was a 5-time British light continuous champion. That's the semi-contact kickboxing, world bronze medalist and British silver medalist in full contact kickboxing, and the number 4 WACO Pro ranked cruiserweight in the country. Well, I think it was a European ranking, actually, because I contested both professional world and British titles in that. Unfortunately, I come up short, but I've had a pretty good crack of the whip. But in all of that, mate, that cash fighter tournament, the whole night stands out like a beacon in my life. You get those nights. That was one of them, mate.
Oh yeah, right. You mean it was a great opportunity what we did that night for not only for the fighters, for us, the spectators, everything. I mean, not like you've got Sugar Ray Leonard there, and also his brother was there. And Sugar Ray throughout the night he would not leave his seat. He loved every bit of it. It was entertaining. You got some big lads in there punching hard. So there was some cuts about. And it was fantastic. The whole night was fantastic.
Your mate Kev, who I fought in the first round, took my jaw off. That's the other reason that's memorable, right? Because have a look at it. It's on YouTube, but basically I dominated the fight, and then in the third round, he hit me one of the hardest hits I've ever taken in my natural life, mate. And I'll tell you this now, he tore the TMJ joint straight off my jaw, right? Now, I got through another fight against Matt Gordon later, and I'm not being off or anything like that. I've watched that fight back loads of times. I personally thought I won that, but the decision went the other way. Don't leave it to the judges. I'd never bitch about it, Steph. I love it. Mate, records are for DJs. I'm there to do my thing, right?
That's it, mate.
Just saying, I don't know how the fuck I got through that fight with my jaw hanging off. It was just pure adrenaline. Because I'll tell you this now, the next... I usually have a couple of weeks off after a fight before I try and start sparring again. And I was sparring with one of my young lads, little 10-stone guy, right? And he clipped me. And my God, it felt like I'd been hitting the jaw with a sledgehammer. My world was rocked. I was like, well, that's not right. And at first I thought it was possibly a bad concussion or something. I thought, I don't feel concussed. On further examination, I had it all x-rayed. They said, no, mate, what's happened is your nerve's exposed in your jaw. So it just felt like someone was pouring lava down my ear into my jaw. Every time anyone even brushed me, I had to take 6 months off of like sparring or competing or anything after that. But that was a great war, and one of my personal favourite fights as well ever.
That's it, yeah.
That was a great night, man, and I thank you for that. So, going to come on to your next thing. You're now predominantly promoting bare knuckle boxing and Luthway, which is the bare knuckle Thai boxing with headbutts allowed and throws and takedowns. Massively exciting. I love that. I fought on your first show, which was Stoke-on-Trent's first ever bare knuckle event. Is that correct?
Yes, that's it. Yes, in the February. That was right. Yeah.
Phenomenal show again, mate. Loved the evening. I've then supposedly come back twice, and I've been cursed, as you well know.
Yeah.
Partially with age and partially with idiots. But shit happens. But when all this stuff's over, mate, I've never needed to hit someone more in my life, mate. So you've got to get me back on. Even though I'm long in the tooth, brother, I'm there, mate.
You've got time to recover now, injury-free.
I tell you what, mate, I'm feeling a lot better than I have. And also, I know I've had a layoff, but everyone's had a layoff now, haven't they? So there's no better time to get back in.
Everyone's fresh.
My fight, I'm not being awful. It didn't quite happen. It was a guy, God bless him, jumped in last minute, because my opponent had no-showed. We'll not talk about that. We don't want any negativity.
No.
But the lad jumped in and great, much respect to him. But he was basically, he closed me down. He hung on to me a lot. And I can't blame him for taking a fight on 10 minutes notice. And he had skills. Yes. He had real skills.
Oh, he was
a very effective spoiler. And unfortunately,
he's been about a lot.
He's been around. And unfortunately, between the fact that he was, he had skills, he was an effective spoiler. That was his strategy on the night, having taken it on 10 minutes. I'd have done the same, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But it was a bit of a non-event of a fight in my eyes. And then he got a cut in the second round, and the ref didn't want to let it continue. The medics didn't want to let it continue. So that was that. So I got the win, but not the fight I was after. So I'm after coming back a handful of times. I keep saying that me and Andy Devant were talking a while ago, because he's coming back a little. I hope I'm not let the cat out, but he's coming back for a few MMA.
I met Andy before. Yeah.
He's a good lad. We fought in the X-Fighter in 2011 in MMA. Pro MMA.
Yeah.
It was good. But he's coming back for a few. And me and him were laughing, saying, me and him are going to be coming back in years to come, like wheelchair jousting, the all that's left. But, right, there's a little bit of background, or a lot of background. Tell me a bit more about the bare knuckle, about the shows, and about some of the roadblocks you've hit trying to get that up, because you got a lot of attention off the press, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, at the first we got a lot of attention. It was... So we did the interviews and things, and they followed us around. There's a lot of stuff been said, how it's wrong and this and that, how violent it is. But like in my eyes, that I try to explain that. First of all, nobody's making anybody do it. Two people want to do it. They want to go the next level. Everybody wants to reach that next level.
Mate.
So you've got two. That's it.
So just to jump in there, that is, at the end of the day, how is it violent when nothing is forced? That's the first point you're making. My interpretation of violence is someone forcing their internal world upon the outside world. All right, so in competition, you're effectively doing the same thing, but the main thing there, the big thing, is consent, right? That's number one.
That's it.
Secondly, even if it was a utopian society and we're all walking around like in Star Trek, no war, interplanetary love, there'd still be combat sports. Because, as you say, it's human nature to want bigger, better, faster, more, to push the boundaries, to test each other. And that is the basis of evolution itself in every respect. Without that sort of drive, we'd still be living in caves. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, man, I'm totally with you on that.
And if you look at it, that's where it originally started from. It originally come from battle. That's where it all started from.
Yeah, man. Combat sports go back to the dawn of time, pretty much, don't they? They really do. So, but you handled that well, and the shows have been big successes. Yeah. And have you now, are you now officially sort of sanctioned under BKB? You got some American links as well and things, I understand?
Yeah, so basically we run the shows in Stoke called Bad to the Bone. We're on now, I think we're on Bad to the Bone 5. Everyone, you've got bigger and better, which you've got to get. I've got some fantastic fighters around us. It's all going brilliant. We partnered up with a guy named Andy Bakewell and Stephen Wiggins. They run Anarchy
MMA or Anarchy Martial Arts.
That's it. In Bolton. Both experienced lads, belting lads.
I've seen Andy.
They watched what I did. That's it. They come the first show. They watched what we did. We joined up and we come up with WBFB, which is World Bare Fist Boxing. And then we talk a lot. We discuss matches before they get announced, titles and everything are discussed before we do anything. We run it to the best as we can. Do you know what I mean? So it's all fantastic. It's all going brilliant. Andy puts them on a Bolton, and then I was doing them in Stoke. We also met another guy who's well into the band. He's very well known, which is Seamus Devlin.
Yeah.
He runs in Burnley, I think it is. I'm sure it's Burnley, where he's now joined with us, and we're putting shows on with them, sanctioning their shows as well. So it's all going good. It's all going good.
Mate. It's been nice to be a part of the start of it as well, even if it didn't quite work out the way I am. But I'll tell you this, mate. I'm looking at a handful more fights before I'm used to glue, bro. You know, I'm getting there.
That's it.
I've needed shoulder surgery for years, but I'm full of cortisone at the minute, so job's a good one.
That's it.
I'm a couple of years, realistically, I'm a few years off a full hip replacement, unfortunately. Although I can, you know,
there's always wheelchair
boxing, jousting, wheelchair boxing. I'm on it, mate. We'll work it.
Come on, Andy, yeah.
Before I get there, though, bro, you will see me again because I've had
definitely.
I've had the worst run ever just recently. I mean, I got injured fighting a mate of mine in a semi-contact kickboxing tournament in the final of the British Championships. And my mate Lee, who I've known sparred with for years, caught me with a wicked liver shot and ended up tearing a couple of my intercostals, and that took a while to get over. And then I'd just done that, and then I got rear-ended by somebody while I was parked. And that slipped a disc in my back, although not badly. I'm having some physio on that. We'll get that back in. And like I say, failing it all, Steph, you hook it up. I need 2 ramps, 2 wheelchair, riser, the lamps, get it on, right? You and me, we can do it. That's a charity night.
That's
Wicked. So, you're obviously doing great with the bare knuckle and everything now, bro. So, going away from the boxing for a moment, and then we're going to come back to it because I want to discuss the fight with Eddie and Thor because we both have an association with Eddie, so we'll come back to that in a minute. But your day job is pretty badass as well. It's pretty extreme. So you run a tattoo shop,
yeah? Yeah.
How did you get into tattooing?
Again, from when I was, from the day I can remember, I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. A tattooist come to his house and he tattooed my dad. It was a local tattooist, tattoos everyone back in the day. And he did a tattoo on my dad. And I can remember clear as anything this day, but after they put the basically kitchen roll on his arm, he got a bulldog on his arm, and this marks and come through the tissue. You can see the outline through blood through the tissue. I love it. It's fascinating, and it's how things mark the skin. And I used to do a lot of drawing when I grew up. I was drawing on my brothers with pens and felt tips. There was a local tattooist. We used to go around his house, and we used to mess with all his kit. And that's all I ever wanted to be. All I ever wanted to be is a tattooist. I love tattooing, and that was it. That's the job I was going to be. Going through school, I didn't listen because I knew what I wanted to do, and that was it. I just carried on. Come out to school, did a few other jobs and things, and then got into the tattoo shop where they helped me, guide me through my way, and I went from there. And I opened my first studio up in 2004, I think it was. So we've been there since in Burslem. Got some good team behind me I work with. everything's fantastic. Other than, again, this. The one thing, everything I love has been taken away through all this. It's the same as a lot of other people, so.
Yeah, bro.
The tattooing, I can sit there hours upon hours of not moving, just tattooing, therapy, everything for it.
Do you have a favourite style of tattooing? Do you like sort of classic American stuff, the Oriental stuff? Is there a certain style that you like or specialise in? Or
I love my black and grey and realism. That's my favourite. I love that, like portrait work, anything realistic, animals, anything like that. Japanese work, we do a lot of.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. As well as the fights, then you've seen me. I'm covered, but I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, that did most of the tattoos on the back. I'll actually be getting him on hopefully for an interview because he's a good musician, tattooist, interesting guy. But I always originally wanted 2 faux dogs either side of my back just to frame off and finish, and there's the space there. So I might have to, take a trip down your afterwards and see you for that as well. But if you do a bit of Japanese
after your fight. Yeah, after your fight, we'll tattoo you.
I'll take the winnings and you give me straight back.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, bro, that sounds great. Wow, mate, that's brilliant. Coming back onto the boxing, because you and I have a common acquaintance in another sort of Stoke native, which is World's Strongest Man, Eddie Hall, the Beast. I obviously work in TV and film, and I had the pleasure of working with him on his new documentary that's due out sometime. It was due out in June. It almost certainly won't be June now, on Netflix, I think. But it's called The Beast, When Eddie Met Arnie. It's all listed on IMDb, so I can say this much. And basically, Eddie is looking to make the move from being world's strongest man, strength competitor, into movies, into action movies. And he went to see his friend Arnold Schwarzenegger because I think they met a few years ago when he broke. Was it the world deadlift record? What did he break a few years ago at the Arnold Classic?
I'm sure it was the deadlift. One when I'm not 100% certain. I remember seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger there on one of the things, and he was cheering Eddie on, and it was brilliant. Like, I mean,
and they become good mates after that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what the crux of the documentary is. He's following Eddie on the next phase of his career. So he came down to my gym in Whaley Bridge, which now the world knows where that is after the dam threatened to burst and drown us all a couple of years ago and stick us underwater. So basically, Steph, like I said, I've said this to my mate Lee, we've had floods, I've got plague now, I'm like, bring on the insects, come on. It's been, mate, it's one of them. Yeah. But coming back, so Eddie come down, he trained with myself and a really good friend of mine, Mr. Ray Nicholas. So Ray is another chap that I've interviewed for this channel, and he's a really close friend of mine. And Ray is a top British stunt coordinator, worked on all the big Hollywood movies. He was in Gladiator with Russell Crowe. He's in Titanic. He did the Batman films with Christian Bale. He's just recently finished working on the last Fast and Furious and also Venom 2 for Marvel. So he's still out there doing his thing at 60 years young. He's impressive.
Last Fast and Furious?
Yeah, a little bit on that.
Fast and Furious. I never thought there'd ever be a last Fast and Furious.
Well, again, God knows when that's coming out now, pal. But it's probably not the last one. The most recent one. It's going to go. I reckon there'll be more Fast and Furious sequels than there were Friday the 13th.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? But whatever, it pays.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it.
But anyway, so Ray and myself and the lads were all working at the gym with Eddie on the fight choreography side of things.
Yeah.
And had him on the punch bag and things a little bit. And I've got to say a couple of things. The reason we talk about this, by the way, for anyone that's living under a rock and doesn't know, is that Eddie has very publicly signed to do a fight with, I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me, Thor, though, the Swedish World's Strongest Man competitor who plays the Mountain in Game of Thrones, absolute beast of a guy. And him and Eddie have had a bit of a beef in real life for a while, it seems. And now they're going to be coming together and competing in a boxing match. So the first things I'd have to say is, we'll come back to this. We'll focus on this for a while, but I've just got to say that one thing I noticed about Eddie when I was working with him, okay, we were doing more for fight choreography, so staging it, but he had phenomenal hand-eye coordination and he is incredibly quick for a guy that is such an absolute unit, you know, such a big guy. He can move. And I've seen him doing a little bit of pads on YouTube and things like that. And okay, you know, needs to keep his guard up a bit and things, but he's a world-class athlete. You and I both know he's going to dedicate every waking moment to this.
Oh, God.
And I'm sure, bottom line, I'm sure that on the night it'll be all right. It'll be in place.
Yeah.
Now, go on. Before we talk about what the public have been saying and things, do you have anything else to add to that? Or?
Well, I mean, I did a little bit of pad work with Eddie in my gym. I opened it last year. So Eddie come down for opening his gym up for us. He opened the gym and we took him on the pad, still a bit of work. And he's fast. Eddie's a lot quicker than what people think. And a lot of these people who do not know Eddie are all saying, "Oh, he's a strong man. He's this, he's that. He'll out of breath. He'll rock this. He'll do that. Blah blah blah." And they do not know him. That guy is a very fit guy. You won't see him swim. He's like a missile, that guy, in the water. I mean, and there is video clips of him swimming. I mean, he was swimming from a very early age. I mean, we've known Eddie a long time. We used to train at Total Fitness, and Eddie was about 17 then when we were training.
Is that when you first met him? Is that when you first met him, mate?
Probably about then, yeah. I mean, he used to train at Total Fitness, and we would talk a lot with another good friend of mine, Baz. And we used to always get on it, and he's a good guy. But like I said, the people who don't know him, they just think he's a strong man. He's not just a strong man. He is a fit guy. And there's one thing for certain: this will be his full-time job. He won't take this half-hearted. This is his job now to do this. And everything he said he'd do, and it's always been said he wouldn't do it. Deadlift, he beat it. World's strongest man, he beat it. He did it. He said he'd only do it the once, because he knew what he sacrificed for doing it. His family, his mental health, his health, himself. The guy went through a lot. And I'm 100% now, this will now be his full-time job, will be boxing. So, I wouldn't doubt, I will not doubt that guy at all. I've seen it fall on some pads and doing a bit of sparring. And he's going to have his work cut out with Eddie. He is fast, he punches strong, and he will be very fit.
At the end of the day, firstly, 110%. And like I said, I was pleasantly surprised working with Eddie because you're doing the on-screen stuff. The idea is to come very close, but to not actually kill the person in front of, just look like you're killing him convincingly on screen. I was a bit worried about Ed because I didn't know what his coordination would be like or anything like that. I had no idea of his physical attributes. And I can tell you, he's got phenomenal hand-eye coordination. He's extremely quick for a big guy. Good control as well. Thank God for me.
Okay,
so there you go.
Me when I held the pads for him, I was glad. I thought if he slips on one of these, I've had it.
Yeah. Welcome to my world there, bro. But no, it was great. And I tell you what, he was dedicated. Even when it comes to the fight choreography stuff, working with Ray, there's no ego with the guy. There's no attitude with the guy. No. Ray's like one of the top guys in the business, especially for fight scenes. And Eddie was just basically just so easy to work with all round. Yeah, no ego, no bullshit.
Yeah.
And worked his ass off. And firstly, I'll say, regardless of the boxing match, I think he'll do really, really well in action movies and all the very best to him. I don't know him. I simply met him and spent a couple of days working with him. So obviously, the long old days, and we got a good chat. And I just thought he was a really cool guy, and I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to what publicly, there's always a lot of shit gets talked about anyone that does anything at any level ever, right? And I've got a lot of. I understand what professional combat athletes are saying when they're there grinding away and things like that. But the fact is, at the end of the day, this is a mega, mega spectacle. It's two of the biggest guys ever. It's two world's strongest men colliding in a boxing match. It's like the conversations that you used to have at school, like who'd win out of Mike Tyson and Ali in the prime, or, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually happening. So it's spectacle. And the two lads know that. Neither one of them has put themselves up as a boxer. Neither one of them said they're going to go and challenge world titles. As you said on a comment on Facebook, they're both staying in the lane. They're both calling it exactly what it is. And you know, a lot of the complaints I've seen, like all these hard-working fighters trying to earn a bit of coin and what have you. Well, it's going to be a massive draw for the sport. End of story. Okay, that type of booking is based on spectacle. We all know that. But I find it fascinating. It's not like watching two fucking retards off YouTube going at it. No, I mean, what that's just But live and let live. You know, I'm not gonna. If that's what people want to spend the money on, fine. But to me, this is a fascinating spectacle, and for anyone that gets on the undercard, it's going to be a mega payday, right?
Yeah, of course it is for them.
Personally, yeah, I would just say live and let live. I really enjoyed. And I might get shit for this, but I enjoyed very much the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. It was a complete circus. I loved watching it unfold. Again, it was pure spectacle, man. Pure spectacle. And it was really, really, it's pantomime done right, is what it is, mate. Yeah. And there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people should just chill out, not take everything so damn seriously, and just enjoy the show. And I just think it's going to be a good thing. I also think it takes an absolute, I know, and so do you. It takes a lot of balls to get in a ring, especially two guys there standing with their kind of, like images, public images to uphold and things like that. They're putting a lot on the line there, and I massively respect that, and I look forward to it. So do you have anything to add on that, bro?
You mean, like I say, there's a lot of negativity going around with me. Again, a lot of the negativity comes from people who sit there on the chairs, never done nothing in their lives, you know what I mean? Never probably picked a weight up, never put a pair of boxing gloves on, but as soon as the fight's on, they know it all. You mean, we've all seen these. You mean, the ones that come out with, I'm not a boxer, I'm a street fighter. You know what I mean, that's the famous one, isn't it? I'm not into rules. You mean, we've all heard it all before. They come into the gyms, and then you find out they're not what they think they are. Again, it's this. Eddie has never claimed he's a boxer. Neither has Ford claimed he's a boxer. You've got two people, both world's strongest men, have come up with this, that are going to fight. There was a lot of things going on with them. Thor apparently called Eddie a cheat. Eddie's not going to accept that. No man would. So what do they want people to see? What they normally do is do another strong man against us that all come out totally out the comfort zones, which they have, putting a pair of gloves up, which has never been done that size of men, jump in a ring, and two people want to fight. That's it. Neither of them have said, like you normally get, oh, I won't fight Mike Tyson, or I want to fight Tyson Fury. If they'd done that, then people can comment, say, hey, hang on, get back where you belong, like you mean, get back in your lane. If not, these two men, strong men, are going to fight each other. That's it. That's it. Yeah. They've done everything, you know what I mean, to get there, you know what I mean? They've, like, both of them have. And I think it's going to be a brilliant event. For one certain, I'm flying over Vegas. I'll go watch it. That's it. So I'm happy. And I'm coming from the box as well. So, I mean, it's same as like when like you said, when Mayweather boxed Conor McGregor. I knew what was going to happen. You've got a lot of MMA lads who say, oh, McGregor's going to beat him. I'm thinking, it's real, like, you mean, 49 fights, nobody's beat him. You think that guy's going to beat him? Never. He won't do anything. He played with him and took him out. That's it.
At the end of the day, mate, it's like, it would have been a very different story if Mayweather had gone and tried to fight McGregor under MMA rules. I doubt it had gone around. You know what I mean?
The same.
That's like saying you've got a Formula One champion and a Superbike champion. Okay, you're both in the same ballpark. You're both motorsports. But just because you're a champion at one doesn't mean you're a champion at the other. They're two very, very different games. They're similar. Yeah. There are similarities. They are two. I've competed in some pro MMA, loads of boxing, kickboxing, K1, everything bar thumb wrestling. And every single sport is it's an art in its own right. And there are different things that I will do, you know, or not do, depending on what the rule. I mean, like when I box, I use my leg work. I get really low. Like I got that from watching Tyson, because he's a shorter dude in a heavyweight sort of scenario. He used to get really, really low, good head movement. And I'm not putting myself on, you know, that part, but I've got decent head movement, bigger guy especially. And that's something I'll do. There's no fucking way I'm doing that, K1 or MMA, because I'm going to eat someone's knee in my face. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a different game. So the game changes. In kickboxing, where you're not allowed low kicks, you know, people have often sort of called that. I'll tell you something, for cardio, that's the hardest thing I've ever done because the pace is insane. Yeah. Because when you've not got clinch, knees, elbows, takedowns, low kicks, right, there's nothing inhibiting you. Plus, you've got to throw a minimum of 6 kicks per round above the waist because that's the only target area. So the work rate is just outrageous, man. It's the hardest thing cardiovascular I've ever done. And again, the way you set your shots up is different. People don't think about it. When you're working in kickboxing, your boxing comes from kicking range. You're throwing the kick, you're getting inside that range, and you've got more time to set your hands up. When you're boxing, bare knuckle or gloved, it doesn't matter, right? You're starting in a much closer proximity. You don't have as much time to react. Everything's got to be that much sharper, you know, and the way you set shots up is completely different. And so there are all these sort of things that people don't consider. But all that aside, firstly, I loved the McGregor-Mayweather. I had a really good time watching it, and it was pure spectacle, pure circus. There's nothing wrong with that in my eyes. I just like good entertainment. And I can't see Eddie and Thor being anything but amazing entertainment. And a great payday for anyone involved. And seriously, I have loads of respect for both of them for doing that, and good luck to them both. And there you go. And I don't have anything more to say on the matter, really. So just to finish up, really, Steph, what are your what are your plans for the future? Who knows, right? But what did you have planned for the future before all this kicked in?
We did have a show planned for the 7th of July. That's not happening. And as well as like, so, I mean, we've got moved to the 8th of August. Who knows? We might have it happen, we might not. But I mean, a lot of the things what we're doing is kept the matching going because it's helping these lads keep something positive for them. I mean, some of the fighters like yourself, I mean, we've got a lot of demons that go around us, and the only things we've got to keep going is training. That's what these lads have got. They keep training. They're focused all the time. Without training, people struggle. They hit a brick wall. So we kept on matching them up. Still, hopefully, like I say, we're there. If it's not, I've got plan B. We've got plan C. We'll carry on moving. But we will be happening. Eventually, we're all going to get out of this, and we'll be all back in the ring. We can all enjoy everything. If not, another plan we could have to have is we're going to have to get some VR headsets.
Yeah, man.
Some boxing there. We can get around it. We can get around it.
Let the keyboard warriors have their day, mate. Let the chairboard do the thing, you know what I mean? They'll probably beat us at that.
Yeah. The keyboard warriors can all come out now and fight, can't they?
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Oh,
yeah,
mate.
there's a few things going. Hopefully, like I say, 8th of August, bad to the bone. We'll be in Stoke-on-Trent. And then if it doesn't happen, we will move forward. We've got dates booked in September, dates booked in October. So we've got still... hopefully like that. If he doesn't, early on next year, we'll be back on.
It'll happen eventually. That's the bottom line. And
that's it.
Mate, I love your shows. I'll definitely be... I can't promise. I've given you my list of ailments. That's not... I'll also just say this now, though. I'm not going out there half-assed. I'm not going out there with a loser's mindset.
No, mate.
The reason I'm wanting to do this is purely for myself. I want a handful more... I want a handful more bites of the cherry before that option is completely and utterly taken away from me in the next couple of years.
That's it.
And I'll be honest with you, Steph, if I go back and worst case scenario, if I went back and I say I'm thinking of 5 fights. No, I might do 1 and think, that's it. I might do a couple. Who knows? I might do 5, do 5 more. You know me. I've had more retirement bouts. Most people have had career bouts already. But I play it by ear. But the fact is, mate, it's just purely for the experience. And I've got nothing to lose and nothing to prove anymore. I'm just going to go and enjoy it. And I'm fit enough for 3 rounds now, so whenever it kicks back in, bell me. And short of the insects coming, Steph, short of the insects, mate, descending on me.
That's it, mate. I think what we'll have to do is not plan your fights.
No, fuck it, no, don't.
It's them on you on the day. You can be a spectator. We'll just, come on, John, let's get yourself in.
We'll do the WWE bit, mate. I'll be a plant in the audience. We'll do it.
That's it. That's it.
I'm loving it, mate. Well, listen, bro. I'm going to stop the recording in a moment.
Yeah,
okay.
No worries.
Just stay on for a second. We'll just have a little bit of a chat afterwards.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to say thank you so much for your time. Been a wicked interview again. And we will talk again in the future and see how things progress past this madness. And thank you very much, bro. All right.
Thank you, John. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. Good luck. Thank you.